Let me open the whiteboard. And I believe you have a table there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I'll paste it here. Read out the question for me again. What does it say? Complete?
Okay, so it says complete the table of values for each equation, then plot and label the ordered pairs. So right under the equation x minus 2y equals 6, you have side x and two columns of x and y.
Let me 1 second. That's the question, right? And let me make the table here. I'm gonna draw it. Table should be something like this, right? X and Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so under x you have 0, leave a space, number 2, and then leave a space. Okay, and then for y, it's leave a space, 0, leave a space, and -1.
You mean a 0 here, right?
No, 0. Yeah, 0 right there. Yes.
Oh. This was what question again?
Say that again.
What page was this question from?
In the book is 208.
The old book, okay, 208. The question was
number 71. We had number 72 for homework.
21. That's the physical book.
Yes.
All right, complete the table of values of each equation. Then plug, not like this, but rather plug. Plug the ordered pairs. Ordered pairs.
So my question to you in this equation here is basically just do we for the column x is just put 0, 1, 2, and then 3.
That's right. So this table here has 2 columns, x and y. So here we know the x, we're missing the y. Here we know the y, we're missing the x, and so on. So we need to plug what we have into the equation and find the other one. For example, the first one, we know the x is 0, but we don't know the y. So the y here is missing. Okay, so what we need to do is we're going to plug the value that's given. So the equation is this, so x minus 2y. Okay, so plug whatever value you have, whether it's x or y, and find the missing one. So the first one we know the x, so we're going to substitute the x with 0 minus 2y. We don't know y, so it stays there until we find it. And then solve this. We're going to solve this for y. So ignore this 0. 0 minus anything.
Minus 2y.
Doesn't change the thing. Minus 2y.
Minus 2y
6.
equals to 6.
Now what do we do to get the y?
Switch the place.
Is it plus 2y or does it stay minus?
So we have a multiplication here. So this is 2 times y. We want to cancel the -2. How do you cancel it? The opposite of multiplication is?
It's plus.
Not plus, but division.
Oh, division. Oh, you said the opposite of multiplication. Gotcha.
That's
yes,
right.
it is.
So you have 2 times y. Divide here. So these cancel. Y will be -4.
3, excuse me, 3.
Okay, so the value that's
Minus 3.
is negative. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're missing y, missing x. So the first order pair is complete. Please mute your mic if you have background noise.
Sorry, Professor. My connection is not that good, and I'm not home. So.
Okay, just mute your mic. Thank you. Whoever has a noise, please mute your mic. And if you have a question, you can ask or you can type it in the chat area. Here, you can say something here in the chat. All right, so that's one order pair. So we talked about complete the table of values of each then plug the pairs or plot the pairs. Basically, the first, we just complete this pair, 0 minus 3. Now we need to plot it. To plot it, we need a graph like this. X-axis and the y-axis. You have some positive numbers here. And negatives on the left. Same thing with the y, we have positives up. You have some negatives down here. 1, 2, and so on. And here we have -1, -2. Up here we have 1, we have 2. And down here we have -1, -2, -3, and so on. So this one is a pair. So a pair has x and y. Okay, so when you complete a point, it makes a pair of two values, the x and the y. So this is the x, this is the y. So we had the x, we had to plug it into the equation in order to find the y. So that pair basically represents a point on a graph. So the graph is like this. So let's plug or plot this point, 0, -3. So the x is 0, you start from the x, which is on this axis, and then you go to the y. Again, find the x first on the x-axis. 0 will be in the middle, right here, the middle of the graph. And from there, we need to go to the y. The y is vertical. So from the x, we either go up or down, depending on the sign of y. If it's negative, we go down. If it's positive, we go up. If it's 0, we'll stay on the x-axis. So again, start from the x-axis on here, which is here. And where do you go from here? So x is 0, y is -3. So we're going to start from x0 on this axis, which is here, in the middle of the graph. Where do you go from there to get to the y? What do you do?
-3. You go to the y and -3.
So we need to go down. So start from 0 and go down to -3. -3 is here. So we're going to start from 0, then count 1, 2, 3. So that's the first point. Let's call this one maybe A. Okay, first point. Let's call it A. This pair, let's call it A, for example. So that's this point. So that's one pair is complete. Then we repeat the same process for the rest of the pairs. Let's do one more. Let's do this one, for example. Let's do the next one. So the next one, this time, what do we know? We know the y, but we don't know the x. So the x, we don't know, but we do know that the y is 0. So back to the equation again, same equation. We're going to plug what we have. We don't know x. We don't know it, so it stays here. -2 times y. What's y? Y is
1.
given. Y is
0.
0. That
equals to 6.
2 times 0 is 0. We have x equals negative or positive 6. Okay, that goes here. Okay, so that's another pair, 6, 0. So we need to put that in the graph. So where do we put? Let's call it B. B is
6.
6, 0. So 6 and 0. How do you plug this point again? The first one is the x. The second one is the y. We're going to start from x.
Go across.
6 will be on the right or left side?
Right side.
Right side. So the
Positive
x,
side. Yeah.
so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be here. And the y is 0. So we are on the x, the y is 0. Do we go up, down, or do we stay here?
Stay in the middle.
Stay here.
That's right. We're going to stay right here because the y is 0. If it was
0.
positive, it would go up, negative, down. So that's the second point. This is B. That's B, this point. And it continues, do one more. Let's do maybe this one here. Let's call it D. So for this one, what do we know? We don't know X,
Yeah, we know y it's minus 1.
Negative
right? But the Y is negative 1. So we need to find X. How do you find X again?
It's same like this. We do
Right? Go back to the equation.
x minus 2y equals to 6.
That's right. So we're gonna plug the, we don't know the X.
Uh-huh.
One,
Minus,
2, and
minus 1
that's right. So the Y is negative 1. So we're gonna plug the Y into this.
equals
And
to 6.
so X is negative 2 times negative 1 will be
Positive 2,
positive
2
2. And
equals to 6.
what else we do to get the X? We need X, so what do we
You
do?
minus it.
X equals to
That's right, we're gonna subtract 2,
uh-huh,
That way we can cancel this. So X is 4.
4.
That's this point. D, 4. So D is 4 and negative 1. So let's graph this point. So where do we start from and where do we go?
From 1 to 4.
So 4, negative 1. So the X is here. So 4 is
Uh-huh.
this point. And where do we go from 4?
To minus 1.
That's right. We need to go to negative 1. That means where do we go? Up or down? So this is 4, X4.
You go down.
Go down 1 unit. This is negative 1. So we're going to go down 1 unit to negative 1. So that's the point D. As you can see, if you do the other point the same way, as you can see, what do you notice about this point? This one A, D, and B. What do you notice about them, the form or the shape they form?
The shape.
The shape or the graph, kind of graph, how do they form?
It's a diagonal line.
It's a straight line, that's right. So that's why we call it linear equation. So this is a linear equation because it's the equation of a line. So when you plug or plot all your points, when you plot your points, they end up on the same line. So let me see if we can draw a straight line. So it goes like this. Let me redo it. So kind of like this. Okay, so the line goes through these points. No matter how many points you have in the table, they should all end up on the same line. If one point, for example, for some reason ends up off the line, that's how you know something is wrong. If, for example, I don't know, you did D and it ends up here, doesn't make sense. It has to end up on the same line. Okay, so all these points belong to the same line here because they belong to the same line because it's a linear equation. So that's basically what we mean by complete the table, which we did. Plug the value that you have, find the other value, and then each one of those makes a pair, which we can graph as a point. So this a pair is basically a point on a graph. And so you start from the X first, then you go to the Y. Once you finish the table and plot in the points, you can draw a line through them. And that's basically the graph. That's what we mean by plot the pairs. So when we put a point on a graph, we say we plot it. So we plot that on the graph. And that's basically the answer to this question. Okay, so this is 71 from the homework. You'll do 72 the same way. So you have a table, you have an equation, so you do that the same way. I'll let you do that later for the homework. Okay, anybody, you guys got this problem? You guys got it? Any questions about this this question?
Got it. Thank you.
No, got it. Thank you.
All right.
We also have to show you like graph, write it, or just number.
It depends on the question. If it says put a graph, then you make a graph. If it doesn't, if it says just complete the table, you only complete the table. So this one said complete the table of values of the question, then plug. I believe this one, yeah, is plot the pairs. So the pairs, plot the pairs, meaning do this, but just go by the
Okay.
instructions of the question. If you haven't done yet, please go to the discussion board. Let me. By the way, when we get disconnected, which it's gonna happen in 5 minutes, rejoin the meeting the same way. Okay, just use the same link, same information, and I'm gonna reopen the meeting to continue this. So let me, for now, let's go to the discussion board. And for those of you who just joined, I'll show you. You need to sign in, say something on the discussion board for participation and attendance purposes. So let me share my screen again with you.